If you were attending a church service this evening, music only, no preaching. So we don't have to get into theology or any style or anything.
Music only.
Music only. Are
Okay.
you attending an old country service at an old backwoods church? Are you attending a very strong, say like Pentecostal style choir service? Are you going to mass at the Catholic Church? Are you going to what we could have Church of Christ, no music, just singing? What service you hitting up tonight?
Well, I've never experienced your world of Pentecostal music. What's that like?
Oh, it's hype, bro.
What kind of
It's lit, as the kids would say.
pretty
Yeah.
good upbeat?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We've taken some heat over that over the
Sing
years.
a few bars of one of them.
I'm definitely not doing that.
Are
But
there a lot of dancing?
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a celebration. No, it's
Well, I'd do that one first. I don't know if I'd like it or not, but I like experiencing new things.
okay.
I currently attend a Baptist church
Okay.
and have for a couple years now.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with. More familiar with that. But I went to a Catholic high school, and my favorite religious hymns are those: "On Eagle's Wings," "Here I Am, Lord." They're better to me.
Okay.
And you know me, I'm kind of a musician.
I've always said that about you.
I don't know. They're a little bit better songs. I hate to use the word better.
Well,
I like them better. I don't know. They're
Yeah.
prettier but
So the
I grew up with standing on the promises and
Yeah. So okay.
what a victory in Jesus. What a day that will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I probably at this point in my life I'm gonna go to the old gospel church out on the road somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it's they're all like out Black Fork, up Etna, whatever. Out Wayne. You guys have that over here.
I wondered what we were going to talk about on this podcast today, and how did you come up with this?
Well, because what I noticed was I was walking from the parking garage to the studio today, and I was singing quietly, because I'm not insane, an old gospel hymn.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit me. I'm like, of all the songs that I would be singing today.
What was it?
Blessed Assurance.
How's that go?
Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of victory is mine.
Okay.
I'm not going to
I was
sing
just
it.
trying to get you to
No,
sing.
I know what you're trying to do, and I'm not following through.
That's as close as I've ever come yet.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. There's something familiar about all that, I guess, is where that takes me back to. So anyways, man, it has been a long time. I don't know how long. It has been forever since it was just you and I on a podcast.
Across the table from each other.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have a chessboard between us.
I know. Would you beat me?
I don't know. You any good at chess?
Well, you'll never know. I almost beat you at darts that time.
My dart game is pretty rusty.
Yeah, first time I'd ever played. I thought I was having fun, and then you got serious. You're like, wait a minute.
I thought you did win.
Not that game. I won a couple games later. I didn't get the experience that Andy had when you guys would play video games together, where your friendship would be in peril.
Man, those stories were actually embarrassing, man. Good gosh. Oh, you hate to see it.
We all grow. We all grow.
It has been a long time. Yeah.
It has been a long time. We used to do this a lot over at the Castle, 701 Main, right? Is that the address there? Mm-hmm. I never mail anything there. Upstairs at the Castle in the old office when we were just audio only, before we had the lights, the cameras, the talent.
I never mail anything there. That's the reason you would know your own address. Do you mail stuff to your house?
I don't. I mean, okay. I didn't think that was going to be the thing you picked on.
I pick on anything you got. That's what I do.
But no, it's been a while. And we haven't really even traveled together as of late. Our lives have taken us different directions. Our jobs have taken us different directions.
Sounds like we broke up.
Where have you been?
Well, that can't be true. We've been some places together, haven't we?
No.
Oh.
There was a crowd. Yeah, we had some of the audience today had thrown out. We were recently.
He means alone time.
Yeah, just Jeff and I. Some windshield time. For
Windshield time, as he calls it.
No, we haven't been. We haven't been. You and Ben went to Toledo recently. In Mansfield, yeah, recently. But no, we've been on different projects. You've been busy as a beaver, as they would say.
Well, since the kids got back in school and summer wound down, it's been, getting back to normal routine and not as much running around. But October's crazy for me.
Yeah.
I've already been, where all have I been, man? Orlando for an ADP meeting.
Yeah.
Lexington for an executive meeting to plan the annual meeting. Yeah. We're going in like 3 days to Cleveland.
Yep.
You're in on that one.
Yep.
You want to ride together?
You're going to be there longer than me. I have to get back for soccer tournaments.
I'm getting really sick of hearing about your soccer tournaments.
They're
frankly.
not mine.
They're taking precedence over my life.
Well, my children have a way of getting in the way of what me and you have going.
Selfish. We're going to Cleveland. Sarah and Danielle will be with us.
Yeah.
It's for a wedding.
Yeah, you have Chicago coming up.
Then I've got Chicago for the Home Care Association meeting. Straight from there to Dallas.
Yeah.
To start a leadership training program. That's a lot of travel, man. I don't even get to go home that week. And that's in like 10 days. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is I don't know when we're going to fit in this windshield time in October.
It reminds me of the Bruno Mars song. I wonder if me and you'll be looking at the same moon at some point. And
No.
No.
Hey, you know what, though, we should do?
Okay.
Do you remember back when we first started this podcast, we were sitting in your office, I think it was February.
Yeah.
Near the beginning of it. We were talking about haunted houses.
Oh, man.
Mirror mazes and things like that. And you said that whenever you enter a haunted house that has a strobe light, I think your word was, don't tell me, it was, well, I might as well be shackled.
Yeah.
You might as well shackle me. You can't move. You just have to become immobile like a raccoon with a flashlight.
It's a virtual shackling.
Possum.
Yeah.
Well, the time is here, my friend.
We are in the season.
Now, this is being, today is mid-October.
Yeah.
But this may not come out until like November or something. But if you're watching, this is October. And this is my chance to get you to commit to some haunted houses.
I'm in.
We've got the Haunted Majestic. It's down on the Ohio River right next to my house.
Doesn't sound majestic, but we'll go.
It's really good. It's like one of those, like one of the best probably on the East Coast almost type. It's a big production, big deal.
Okay.
The Haunted Trail in Barbersville, right next to the office.
Right by the skate park. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw the sign for it, and it made me think of this conversation from last February. Because I did commit back then that you and I would go to some of these attractions.
Here's what we'll do.
Okay.
Because we got to be realistic about this. We'll hit them both in the same night.
We
just
have
leave
to.
it there. There's some others too, but they're farther away. Let's go to both of them.
Okay.
And just see if you get shackled mentally.
Well, so in the studio, we have some additional lighting. We've really stepped up the game. And earlier, while they were running through some testing, that one behind you strobes, and they had made a joke about leaving it on. And I literally thought, well, I won't get through this podcast if you do. So, but they didn't, and it's pretty bright in here, so I would have been fine. But yeah, it's I'm ready. I will go, and I'll scream like a girl as we go through the whole time, scared to death, laughing, still scared. But yeah, I'm in. I love a haunted attraction.
We really seriously now. We're pretend we're not doing a podcast, right? We're not playing it up to be kind of high energy fellas. We're just being serious.
Yeah.
Would you seriously, no joke, be scared in there?
I have been to haunted attractions where I wasn't 1,000% confident that the people interacting with me was not insane people.
Yeah, fair.
And so, yeah, there's a small portion. I mean, now I'm not like scared of, what's that in the mask? But we were in one haunted attraction where a guy literally we were in a butcher's room, and he had a half of a beef hanging there. And he was wearing it out with this axe. And he was cursing at us and screaming, if you don't get out in 10 seconds, I'll kill you. And I can clearly see this is a real piece of beef and a real axe. And I just felt like this guy was either very into character or insane. And either way, I could not find how to get out of this room. And I'm just going to leave.
And it scared you.
I was a little uncomfortable, I will say. Now, when I get nervous, I laugh a lot. And so you'll find me laughing through haunted attractions more than anything, like laughing hard because I'm uncomfortable. There's just something, that's why if you just went through like it was, a museum, no one's going to care. They're designed to get to your senses, and they get to mine.
Let me ask you something here.
Okay.
So you said that made you uncomfortable, but not truly scared. You wouldn't go quite that far.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was thinking that Rachel asked me this a couple times in the last year or so, but once not too long ago, Daddy, do you ever get scared? I had to actually think about that. When is the last time that you were truly scared? I'm not trying to sound tough or anything. I mean, I just actually, it's
like afraid of the unknown.
For a 42-year-old man to get that scared about anything is kind of not easy.
Yeah. I have had an instance of a near accident where like my legs went numb with fear. Like I physically reacted like, wow, that was death at my door. And
what happened?
It was like an accident in front of me, like screeching, type thing. Just recently, Danielle and the kids and I were on our way to a soccer game, and this semi truck we're driving up, no exits anywhere in sight. We're driving. There's a concrete wall on one side, him on the other, and he just drifted straight over. I almost always drive. That particular day, I hadn't ate lunch yet, so Danielle agreed to drive so I could eat on the way. And I am telling you, this thing was coming inside our vehicle. And I was just like, God, it's going to hurt so bad.
If you had been driving, you might have been less scared because then you wouldn't have had time to even think.
Yeah, she clearly wasn't scared at all. She was just over there driving.
What happened? It just veered away?
He saw us, and he was, who knows, texting and driving. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What's new with your life?
Well, what is new in my life?
Nothing. That's a good answer sometimes. It means nothing's wrong, probably.
Yeah, I think we've had, we recently were, you mentioned we were recently in Lexington for executive meetings, and that's always a good time for our team in October to look back over the previous year, right? Because our business kind of runs October to October, and then the general company resets December to December, right? So October was a good time to look back over the last year, look forward into the new year, right? And yeah, man, it's been a really busy year. It's funny. I was thinking about this morning when I knew that we would be coming down to the studio to do this one-on-one. There was a period of time this year where we kind of used our podcast time as therapy. Like we'd be like, man, this has been tough, or, this was awesome. We killed that project. We'd come back all excited. Other times we get on podcasts and be like, we may not be able to air this thing, but we need to talk about this.
That's true. There were some where first off, we were also just trying to get more used to talking to each other with a microphone in our face so that we wouldn't kind of freeze up or be so bad at it. But maybe we still are. But back then we would just start talking about anything and just hit the record button, see what happens.
Sure.
You're not lying, man. Those conversations would go some odd places sometimes.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool moments, though.
Yeah, man. I think it'll be fun to look back on those in time. Some of them
you still got them?
Yeah, some of them never went to production. They just kind of sit there on the cloud. They were long ramblings of my thoughts, your thoughts. Yeah, but no, man. Life has been good. We've had a great year personally. Healthy, happy. We're leading into the holiday season, my favorite time of year. And so we've had a good year. We've had a lot of fun. We've worked really hard. I think, it's been a very productive year. We've hit a lot of the goals that we hope to hit. We've moved into moments of discomfort because it was the unknowns, it was new challenges, new levels type stuff. But yeah, I think it's been a fantastic year. I'm really excited about the annual meeting coming up in December. It's going to be great not only to see everyone together, but that's just a real moment for me of recharge and refocus, to kind of launch into the new year. Not that I'm burnt out, not that, it's not fun, but it's just the anticipation of that event is always a lot of fun because it gets everyone together and it's just a special time.
When you leave there, it's almost impossible not to feel like a runner's high or something, man. You go home and feel like you've just conquered the world or something, or you're ready to go conquer the world.
I remember we would go away to church camp in the summer, and we'd go there for a week. And I remember they would say things like, when you go back home, you're going to go back Sunday and you're going to have, a real close walk with God, and you're going to be very motivated in your spirituality. Don't let that go away. Find a way to keep that. I don't know if it's possible to keep that same intensity or that same interest, whatever.
Really hard.
Yeah. But, it's kind of that same thing. We're going to Nashville this year. It's going to be a ton of fun. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be nearly twice the size it was last year in attendance. And we've got some great guest speakers lined up. There's just going to be a lot of really cool things happening. An awesome award ceremony is planned.
We're trying to get Andy Hess to drive a car into the middle of the room.
There's talk about that. But how do you keep that energy, and how do you, by the time you get to April, how are your batteries still charged? How are you still focused on your processes, on your growth, on running your business, right?
They can't be.
I see.
I mean, you can't maintain that level. Let's not even try to pretend like you can. You can maybe come close. The closer you can come, the better. But I just think that's unrealistic, and it sets people up for failure because it's unrealistic goals and expectations. I'm not going to leave that meeting on December the 6th and feel that feeling on April the 3rd.
I see.
That's why it's important, though, to continue to get together for the April meeting and then the August meeting, because whenever we do get to all round up together, you get it again.
Yeah.
So you can't wait very long, but, that's why at some point it becomes really important. If any director is listening to this, any staff member is listening to this, ultimately you need to want to succeed, and you need to want to grow and be the best that you can be at your job, in your life, whatever it is, just for yourself. Because who cares what Jeff and Aaron think of you? On some level, this has to be because you want to do it, because you want to do it, and you're internally motivated, and that's the reason for it. If you really get into that, and you're reading the right books and consuming the right material, it becomes easier to want to be the best version of yourself you can be. And some of that, we started off talking about church songs and stuff, and then you just referenced it again. To me, I do think that involves spirituality, because man, it can just be a real grind. And how do you? It's like, I don't remember who we were talking with this about, but someday you get to live out your years and you end up in heaven, right? Are you get to make 1 billion decisions every single day, every day for your whole life. Did you get to be, how close did you become to the best version of Aaron Gustin that Aaron Gustin could be? Were you kind of close? Was it the complete opposite? Where are you at on that spectrum? And so if you look through it that lens, it's easier to just every single day wake up with a new appreciation for the day. Today, I do want to be the best version of myself that I can be, just because I want to do it. And I have faith in a higher power that's more than myself. And it's not about work. It can be about family, faith. But I really believe ultimately you have got to be motivated for yourself.
Yeah. We were talking recently at the office, and managing expectations. And when you get to an office, let's say you're a director and your office is at 2,000 hours a month, and your goal and passion in life is to get that thing to 10,000 hours a month. Or Garrett was on the podcast earlier, and he said, our goal was to get to this many views or to cross that many timelines. And well, how big of a deal is that? How far away are you? We're about halfway there, right? And you get to that goal, you cross that hurdle, and does it look different? Does it feel different? Is what you thought would be this huge accomplishment actually come with a lot more work and a lot more responsibility? And now I'm not on top of the mountain. I actually found I've got a whole new mountain to climb but this mountain's different. This mountain is managing attitudes instead of managing jobs, is managing, real management challenges, leadership stuff. This whole time I was working, it was just to grow the business. Now it's to maintain this thing and to keep growing it. And I have to assume you've had these moments in this business growing where you're like, if we could just get that thing, it's going to look like this. And it can't always look like that, right? There's good to it, but there's also, it looks or feels a little bit different. How do you, when a director's been in their seat for that period of time and they get there and the thing looks or feels different, not bad, but just different, what would you tell them that you've done in those seasons where you've checked the thing off the list? Now you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Well, and before I answer that, you and I talked about this not long ago. Can we pull the curtain back on that a little?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, so you're the director of what is your title? What are you? VP of Operations?
Yeah, my name's Aaron Gus, and I work at Village Caregiving.
So you oversee the operations of the business. Okay. Well, so it's been divided up into regions, and there's a team of 5 people that have various different states, and you are one of those. Ohio and Michigan is your territory. Soon, it will not become a tenable situation for you to continue on overseeing those offices while you're also overseeing an operations department.
Sure.
It doesn't even make sense, and it's not a good idea, and someone needs to manage the department and not just the office that happens to be located 4.5 hours away. And so we had this conversation about that, and you were a conscientious guy, good guy, and you're like, whenever I'm not doing that work, though, there's a part of me that might just kind of feel lazy.
Sure.
And I understand that, where that's coming from, and that's what we're talking about here. And my advice to you is something along the lines of, oh, buddy, believe me, you won't be lazy. It's less work. I'm using air quotes here.
Sure.
If you're only listening to this, it's less work, task-driven work. Maybe you're not having to punch things into the CRM or Excel sheets or whatever. But the challenge of managing more people and a bigger operation is way harder than the work. There are days that I wish, dude, I could just go back and do payroll all day. At least I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
I mean, it's a
familiar.
straightforward process. It's familiar. I'm good at it. That feels comfortable and nice. That couldn't be farther from what I'm doing now. I come home some days and Sarah's like, how was your day? I was like, yeah, it's good. What'd you do? And I tried to think back on it. I'm like, I have no idea what I did today. I did a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So directors will get to that point, and I'll answer your question now. When it looks different, you thought it was going to be one way and it's another way. First off, who cares? I mean, so you thought it was going to be one thing and it isn't. Well, I mean, I would just laugh at that and find it even more interesting. Who likes a movie that you know exactly how it's going to end?
Sure.
There's a twist. Embrace it. What they should all do also is stay, and we talk about this a lot, stay very, very curious, stay open-minded, and want to just learn and experience all you can. You only got so many years to live anyway, man. One of my big fears in life is that I would like to experience every single thing a human being can experience before I die.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have time to do that. There's no way. But I even mean some of the good and the bad stuff. It's a little bit weird to say that, but
yeah, it's funny you bring that up because recently I was reading a book and it was really applicable to where I am in this season of my life. It was begrudgingly, pointed out some things that I need to work on in my life, just my growth, my personality, weak points that I know are things that I've kind of gotten by on that I need to improve on. And one of the parts of this book was about kind of the theory behind this author's thought was that at some point, whether karma, life, whatever, it kind of evens the score. You have wins, you have losses. If you stack a bunch of wins, you're probably due for a loss type thing. And they were just kind of telling you how to keep the right mindset through those seasons of real tribulation, right? Real struggle. And there was a part of me that wanted to skip the chapter because it was like, I don't even want to think about when things go. And I've had obstacles in my life. I've had things I've had to overcome. We've had setbacks. We've had, things happen. But like, I didn't want to read it because I was like, oh, I don't just act like it's not there, right? That those seasons will come. Well, people will pass away. Jobs will change, whatever the thing is that I don't expect the world to throw at me. You know that it will. And it's like, yeah. Just didn't like you're talking about like, I'm just embracing it. And I'm over here like, if I don't read it, it's not real.
Well, no, I fall into that trap too. Believe me. I totally get that, man. I'll tell you what, on some level, I learn what bums me out now. When I was younger and people would be like, oh, that's a bummer. I just thought that was like a word that you said once in a while. I didn't even have this emotion. All the news hit me just the same. But, the older I get, it's like I realize how susceptible my mood, my emotions, my attitude towards other people are.
Yeah.
Just because of what I just read in the newspaper, what song was just playing in my car. You can kind of self-engineer your mood a little bit more than you might think. And there are definitely times whenever somebody in the house, could be Sarah, Cameron, whatever, they're starting to tell me some horrible thing that they read, and I'm just like, stop. Like, I literally don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
I know it happened. I can't do anything about it. I don't think it's any productive value to me hearing this story from you right now. I'm going to continue on trying to be nice the rest of the evening and not, a pain in the ass to be around.
Yeah. Well, I know I've been like, hey, did you hear what happened? You're like, no, don't even put it in.
That's right, man. Yeah.
I love a good news article. So, well, man, I'll tell you something that has been we haven't really got a chance to talk about this, but many, many episodes back, we were joking about that we should be able to just have Thanksgiving whenever we like. You want to have a Thanksgiving dinner in the middle of the summer?
As I recall, I took a lot of grief over getting a turkey in August.
You
right?
did. Yeah. There was
Spencer, were you on my side or against me on that? I thought Spencer and I were always teammates.
Yeah. Well, but as things happen in the world of Jeff Stevens, I get a text and a group message with Danielle and Sarah that says, we're having Thanksgiving this weekend, come on up. And that's right, dead in the middle of summer. And sure enough,
Sarah found a turkey at an out of the way market, the last one in the whole store
in August.
She sends me a picture of it. Should I get it? Yes,
of course.
Of course. Send the invite out. Thanksgiving it was August, right?
Yeah, we'll make sure that a couple pictures make it on this video cast from that day. It was a spread. Yeah, it was a spread unlike no other. It was delicious. And I remember your biggest compliment of the night was Sarah's pumpkin pie. You just went on and on about how good. I thought the stuffing was great. Everything was delicious. You did a killer job on the turkey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The turkey is my one contribution, but I make a pretty good turkey, and that pumpkin pie was awesome. See, my mom she makes the best pumpkin pie ever, so there's no need for anybody else to ever make one. But Sarah knocked that out of the park, didn't she?
Yeah, it was delicious. Now, that was a great time, and it's those kind of things that when you look back over the year, like that was a fun weekend, but man, what a great memory to have. Over the last year, we've done some fun things, Thanksgiving in August or July, whenever that was. It was a good time.
Did I change your mind about it?
Yeah, it was special. Now, I think that would have been maybe as fun if it was a big spaghetti dinner or whatever. It was just a great time, but it was unique, and we agreed to continue the tradition. So
Friendsgiving.
and it didn't take away from November. That's my fear, that you would have it so often. You know, you have pumpkin pie at Easter. It's not going to be pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. Was my fear.
No, that's far enough apart.
Yeah,
it's
you're
just, hey, how did we start off talking about that feeling leaves you? So you got to have another meeting in April and then
That's
one
right.
in August. Now, you don't want to have Thanksgiving every 16 days.
No, too much.
Right. But you can do it every few months.
Yeah.
That's right on the money.
So there is rumors that we're going to host a podcast at the annual meeting this year. Now, I was hesitant to bring it up because I thought, I don't know, maybe logistics, but if we say it, we have to obey it, right? If we're going to hold ourselves accountable.
It's the best way to make yourself do almost anything.
Yeah. So
Why do you think I was doing the running with the bulls when I got over there and saw I was likely to get run over and killed? Because
Yeah.
I'd already told people I was going to, then I couldn't chicken out.
couldn't come home.
Yep.
So are we going on the record saying we're going to host a podcast at the conference this year?
Going on the record is a yes. There you have it.
It's going to be huge.
And also, what we should do, it's like a college. Hey, all right. This is going to be good. Austin, are you going to be in Nashville?
Oh,
Okay.
the whole team. Yeah, we're flying everyone in.
So once we get the meeting sort of rolling and kicked off,
Yeah.
at that point, we're familiar with most of the lectures ourselves. Obviously, we
Right.
play in the meeting. So you and I can set up shop sort of out there in the hallway just outside the room. Mm-hmm. And it's like college game day style, just
Bring 'em in.
grabbing anybody.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave the room and even take a bathroom break because we're going to grab you and say, hey, give us 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. Sit down and just rotate. We might have 10, 20, 30 guests plop down and
Who knows?
run it for a few hours, cut it up into some various episodes. I think we have a lot of fun with that.
I mean, we're going to be in the heart of country music, so Garth Brooks may walk by.
Oh.
Garth, sit down, get behind the mic.
Your love of country music really is something that I remember most from the old days of the podcast when
Yes.
they're only on audio and they're only on Spotify, not
Yes.
YouTube. You were hot. Every episode you talked about country music. What happened? Well, you got away from it a little bit?
Well, no, you just made me quit talking about it, mostly.
I didn't think that worked. Thought there was no controlling you.
Well, man, before we go, I got to ask. We look back over the year. We'll have a couple more episodes by the time this airs. We'll have a couple more episodes for the end of the year. But what is your one most proud thing that we've accomplished at Village Caregiving in the year 2023?
I have just so many answers to that. The most proud thing that we've accomplished. Well, I know what my answer is, but I'm trying to think of a different one because it's turned into a broken record. I talk about it so much, but it's that we have continued to grow. Last year's annual meeting, there were, I think, 90 or so people there. This year, we expect there could be somewhere between 150 and 170.
Yeah.
So you've grown a ton. We've had new offices. We've had new directors put in place. We've expanded the corporate staff. Can you become almost twice as big, much bigger company, more dollars, more hours, more everything, and still maintain the culture that you're proud of? And I feel like we've done that. I feel like this December, when we go to Nashville and you see all the people and they're good people and you're happy to see them and you're going to leave with that same good feeling that you left in Cincinnati with. And that might get taken for granted sometimes, but it is not easy to do. If you're out there listening to this, I'm telling you, that is not easy to do. You got to get so many hires right and treat people even on your worst day with the respect and dignity and kindness that they deserve, no matter how you feel, because that's just selfish and wrong. It's easy to fall into these traps, and that's why there are other workplaces that people come from where they can't say these things, and it was kind of a toxic environment. I've heard so many stories from current employees like that, and you say to yourself, as everyone would say to themselves, well, that's never going to happen here.
Right.
Well, is it? I feel like we've grown a lot and we've kept a hold of what's most important to us, which is that, and I'm really proud of that.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a great year, and I think you've done a good job.
I think you've done a good job. Well, I mean, whose department has changed more than yours? Operations is not even remotely what it looked like when we started this podcast, is it?
No.
I mean, not at all. How are things going there real quick? I know we probably got to wrap up.
No. Yeah, it's been a great year, man. We've added some really, really talented people. We've expanded what we do, how we do it. We're finally getting to the point, I believe, where we're not just reacting to challenges. We're hopefully becoming much more proactive in those things. And I think we're having a lot of fun doing it. I think that we've been able to build a team that enjoys being there and is having a good time. The culture is good, and so it's been kind of cool. I kind of feel like we're the lab for village caregiving, because so often people are looking into operations to see as a crystal ball to the rest of the thing. So that's been a lot of fun.
You are just the cool kids office of the room, man. Like if I'm sitting at my stuffy old desk and I want to break up the day for a second, you can just walk down to the ops room. Everybody's got these high-tech, cool stand-up desks. Multiple monitors all over the place. Music's playing, but they're working too. I mean, it's just there's a good seating area. That's where you go if you want to just smile.
Yeah,
which is what a compliment that is to you.
I appreciate you saying that, man. It's because of the team. I just sometimes I feel like I get to just turn the lights on and open the door, and then the magic happens on its own. So very fortunate, very humble because of that. So. Well, cool, man. Well, I've enjoyed being back on the podcast with you. We'll probably do this maybe one more time before the end of the year, but it's been a lot of fun and a lot of value having directors and other folks from the company come in and spend time with us and get to know them through that. I learned, the other day I learned stuff about Andy Hess I never knew about by coming on the podcast. I've worked with that guy for 4 years. So.
I learned about a few things I had said that I didn't remember either. So we all learned something.
Yeah, well, there's that. Cool deal, man. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast today, buddy.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Yeah.
Well, cheers.
All right, it's been fun. It is nice to do this again once in a while.
Absolutely.